Hello guys, welcome to the channel. This is Hassan Shirazi. I am very excited to finally feature an Italian car in our channel. To the left of me is a 2020 Alfa Romeo 4C Spider. However, this is not a normal Alfa Romeo 4C. This is an Alfa Romeo 4C Spider 33 Stradale Tributo. Only 33 of these Alfa Romeo 4C Spiders were imported to the United States in the final year that they were being sold into the United States. And this car is the number 19 of 33. So I'm super excited to feature this in our channel. So in today's episode, we're going to give you a little overview of this beautifully and hand-sculpted Alfa Romeo, the history of Alfa Romeo and how they came about building this car, a little bit about the performance specs as far as the engine, also the braking, suspension, and we're going to go over the style of this car. We're also going to tell you a little bit about the interior of this car, and towards the end, we're going to be taking this car for a little drive. If you're new to this channel, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. That's one of the ways that gets our channel growing, and I truly hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you. Okay guys, now let's tell you a little bit more about this Alfa Romeo 4C Spider 33 Stradale Tributo. That is a tongue twister, by the way. 4C means 4-cylinder, Spider means convertible, 33 is a number that was allocated to North America. Stradale means a road version of a race car, and Tributo is a tribute to a legendary mid-engine Alfa Romeo. It was called Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale, and that was actually based off of another 33 version of an Alfa Romeo. It was called Alfa Romeo Tipo 33. So there's a lot of 33s involved with Alfa Romeo and their history, and I guess the limited number of cars they produce. Personally, I've always been infatuated with Alfa Romeo and how they came about building their cars, and just the design of these beautiful cars. They're handcrafted, they're sculpted, and they are different than Ferrari and Lamborghini, which are the other two famous Italian brands. First of all, they were founded many decades before Ferrari and Lamborghini, and their concept is really different. Their design is different. They have a lot of curves and lines to this car. I mean, you look at this car, this special paint that you see in this car that you cannot appreciate that good on today's weather condition because it's cloudy, but it is a triple coat Rosso, which is red, via the SD color that is a special only to these 33 versions of the Alfa Romeo 4C. But I just always like Alfa Romeos in general. Another cool thing about Alfa Romeos that I've always loved is their grille, which is pointed down triangle, and I love the logo. So you have the word Alfa Romeo, then you got this serpent, then there's a human coming out of its mouth, and then you have this little cross right here, which I think is just absolutely cool. I was always mesmerized by the late 60s and early 70s Alfa Romeo GTV 2000, and later on in the 80s they had another very special car called GTV6 that I really loved to drive or maybe own one day. And then in the early 2000s they came up with the 8C Competizione and 8C Spider. Some of the technology that you see in the Alfa Romeo 4C is actually based on the 8C Competizione. Alfa Romeo introduced the 4C in 2014, and first couple of years you can only get them as a coupe version. Later you can also get them as a Spider version. And in total production, they only produced 9,117 cars for the world. And in 2020, which was the last year of 4C being produced, Alfa Romeo decided to make the very last 33 a very special. They got help from their specialty designing studio called Centro Stella Alfa Romeo to build this car. Another special thing about 4C is the only car, and it's under $100,000, that has a all carbon fiber, which is actually red carbon fiber monocoque, and the outer body is actually made out of composite material, which is 20% lighter than steel. Now this car weighs about 2,487 pounds compared to these exotic cars like Ferrari or Lamborghini that are at least 3,600 pounds. This has 1,000 pounds less, and what they say is less weight equals more horsepower. So this car actually has a 10.4 pounds per horsepower ratio, which makes this car a little bit faster than its competitors, which are Audi TT and Porsche Boxster. A few things that are exclusive to this 33 Stradale Tributo is obviously this gorgeous red. It's a triple coat red called via the SD. Also, they all come with black and tobacco interior, and also gray and gold 5-hole wheels, which the owner of this car has changed, and I'm going to explain a little bit more about those later on. There were a few other options that were available to order for this 33 Stradale Tributo, and this car actually has all of them. They're the Acropovic exhaust, they're the race tuned suspension, Club Italian mirror covers, carbon fiber halo, and the owner of this car went one step further and he ordered a carbon fiber roof from a company in Germany called Beyond Shapes, and this car has it, which I think complements this car much better than the soft canvas top that they originally came with. All right, moving on to the back of the car, which actually has the engine and the trunk. Yes, I know it's very interesting how they fit both of them in there. The reason they kind of did this is because this car is a mid-engine car. This car has a 1.75 liter, 4-cylinder, 4 valves per cylinder, twin cam, turbocharged engine, and it makes 238 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. All of this is mated into the ground via a 6-speed, twin dry clutch automatic transmission, and it does a 0-60 in 4.1 seconds because of that very, very low weight of 2,487 pounds, and the top speed of this car is about 160 miles per hour. Although this car doesn't have a glass engine cover, I like how they put these mesh pieces here, there, and there, so you can actually see parts of the engine of this car, and that gives it another cool factor. All right, guys, now let's talk about the wheels, brakes, and suspension on this 4C33 Stradale Tributo. Normally, these cars came with 5-hole gray and gold wheels, 18s in the front and 19s in the rear. However, the owner of this car has had some custom design and built forged aluminum Toledo wheels, 19 in the front and 20 in the rear, that are wrapped on 235 with tires in the front and 255 with tires in the rear. Now, as far as the braking system of this car, since this car weighs a little bit less than 2,500 pounds, you don't need some massive brakes. So this car has 4 piston calipers in the front, 1 piston caliper in the rear, and the brake rotors in the front are 12 inches. They're cross drilled, and in the rear they're also cross drilled, and they're only 11.5 inches in diameter. As far as the suspension of this car, as I mentioned, this car already does come with race tuned suspension. However, the owner of this car has further lowered the car by 3/4 of an inch via a coilover system, and it gives it, I think, a much nicer feel when you're driving this car, but you definitely do feel the bumps as you're driving. Let's talk a little bit more about the interior of this Alfa Romeo 4C33 Stradale Tributo. One of the things that impressed me the most when I first got into this car was this red carbon fiber that is part of the monocoque of this car. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It gives this car a nice, unique flavor, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Another thing that you notice is these seats. I love the tobacco against black seats. Now, they're not the most comfortable seats. They're very nice and tight, but this is obviously a Stradale, or basically a street legal racing version of a car, so you don't expect to have a super comfortable seat. In order to save weight, Alfa Romeo didn't put any fancy power seats in this car. You either can move the seats to the front and back, and also adjust the back portion of it. Another area that you see Alfa Romeo was trying to save weight is in the doors. Obviously, this is how you open the doors when you're inside, but you want to pull the door towards you, you just pull on this strap. You don't have something really bulky over here that will increase the weight of this car. Weight saving measures have continued on, and you can see how bare bones the interior of this car is. That's your gas pedal, and then that's your brake, and that's it. You don't have anything to basically cover this up. And you have a nice digital instrument cluster. You have your fuel gauge, you have your coolant gauge. This is where the speed is displayed. The gears are right here, and flanking those is the tachometer that goes all the way to 6,500. That's the start of the red line on this car. As far as the dashboard, I like the quality of the material. See the tobacco stitching going all the way across the black leather, which again continues on the theme of this car. But one of the things that I don't understand why Alfa Romeo didn't spend a little bit more money on is this very, very aftermarket looking Alpine stereo system. I guess in their mind is, if you're driving this car, you shouldn't even have the radio on. So who cares what kind of stereo system this car has on? Couple of other things under here is the AC, power lock, and heated side view mirrors. Then coming down, you have your climate control gauges and settings. Moving down here, the owner of this car has made a custom made tobacco center console, which this car didn't come with, so that adds to the uniqueness of this car. Another thing about this car is how you change gear. Obviously, N is for normal, R is for reverse. This is how you have it on auto or manual shifting with the paddle shifters. But if you actually want to drive this car, you have to press 1. And right below those are your power windows, the power mirrors, your hazards, and here's where you can choose the car on 3 different settings. Normally the car starts on N as normal, or you can switch it to dynamic or put it on all weather if it's like a slippery road. And this is one of the most important things about this car is the plaque signifying that there's 33 cars sent to North America, and this one is number 19 out of the 33. Another place that Alfa Romeo wanted to put down that this car is indeed a very, very special car is right here. We have Tributo 33 Stradale, and with the little car looks like that it's racing on a racetrack. So that's actually pretty cool. Now this car does not have any glove box. There's a couple of areas both on the passenger and driver side that you can put little stuff in. And there is a cup holder, a mini cup holder of some sort, or maybe you can just put coins in here. The owner of this car has made a custom line for charging his phone, and you have a nice leather stitch handbrake. The simplicity has also moved on to the steering wheel. You don't see any buttons on the steering wheel, which is very, very unusual for a car that was built for year 2020. But again, this is a race inspired type of car. It's very nice and grippy. You got the flat bottom steering wheel, and on the back of the steering wheel, you have your paddle shifters as well. I like the round and adjustable climate vents that you see on this car. Is very nice and cute. Obviously, you have a traditional mirror. Well, one of the things that is really, really interesting are these sun visors. Look how small and non-functional they are. Actually, they don't do much of a job of blocking the sun, but Alfa Romeo just put this in here, I guess, as a touch. Moving on and talking about the exterior styling of this 4C Spider 33 Stradale Tributo. I really, really love this triple coated red paint that you see on this car. Everything about this car as you're looking at it at the front is different. First, it's nice and slow slung, it's wide, it's got these beautiful lines coming from this side of the hood and also on the opposite side of the hood. Really love this grille that you see with the mesh grille that you see on this Alfa Romeo with the Alfa Romeo logo. And same thing that you see here, you have enough area to suck in air to cool down the radiator of this car. That's actually the radiator that you see over there. The bottom portion of the front bumper is nice. It's got this little area for more downforce if you're going at a higher speed. And if you pay attention, you can see some of the details that Alfa has made. You got these little side vents that are actually carbon fiber. Probably take out some of the air for better aerodynamics. I love and absolutely love these lights that you see on the car with the 4C printed on the side. These are obviously LED lights. Just the inside of it, it looks so nice and cool. Now, one thing to mention about this car has a single wiper blade, so that's pretty neat. You don't see too many of those nowadays. And as you move to the side of this car, the side profile of this car is absolutely gorgeous. You got this beautiful and wide flared fenders in the front, complemented by those beautiful custom made 19-inch wheels, and the mirrors that have the Club Italia colors. You got the red, white, and green to the slow slung carbon fiber roof of this car, and the lines of the doors that lead into that side duct. It's just so nice and so beautifully sculpted. Then on the side of this car, towards the back of the car, you see the Centro Stile Alfa Romeo. That's a designing studio that helped make this car become reality. Right by it, you got this little duct that is carbon fiber covered on the exterior that helps cool down the engine as well. Then just looking at the back of this car is so nice and wide and so beautifully sculpted. And obviously, when you go to the engine cover, you can see parts of the engine through these mesh openings. It's just absolutely great. I love how you got the little bit of space right here before that rear glass. It's just a really, really delight to look at. Alfa Romeo designers, they knocked us out of the ballpark with the way they design it. And then obviously you have the 20-inch custom-made wheels in the rear, and then you come to one of the most favorite places when I look at this car. It's the rear of this car. I've always been in love with round taillights, and it's just absolutely a delight to look at. And this car definitely does not disappoint. Just a very, very beautifully sculpted rear of this car. And this trunk cover is really nice. You got the third brake light, you got the rear view camera. Obviously you have the Alfa Romeo logo. You got a couple of more mesh grill openings here and on the opposite side. And the back of this car is, again, very nice and slow slung. It's just absolutely beautiful. Then the bumper, you don't see any lines on the bumper. It's very nice. It's one piece. It's so nice and smooth, that the way they designed it. And then you come to right here, the rear diffuser, greeted by this beautiful and aggressive Akrapovic exhaust, and it makes a menacing sound. Take a listen. And if you want to drive this car in its convertible format, the carbon fiber roof of this car that has been custom made comes off pretty easy. There's 4 latches on there. Basically, the carbon fiber roof hooks onto these 2 right here and 2 right there, and then there's 4 latches underneath that you can unhook to get it out and drive this car in its convertible format. All right, driving this Alfa Romeo 4C Spider 33 Stradale Tributo. I gotta say, it's absolutely amazing. This is the first Italian car that we're featuring in the channel, and I'm super lucky because I'm driving one of the 33 that's been imported to the whole United States. I mean, you don't just get that. I've never owned an Italian car, and I've only driven one Maserati, and it was a Maserati Ghibli. And this car is totally different, from the styling of it to the heritage behind it to the exclusivity of this particular car. It's just amazing. It's mind-boggling, and it drives so nice. It's so connected to the road. I mean, let's be honest, this car is definitely basically a street legal version of a race car. That's what it exactly is. So it is not meant to be a comfortable car. It does have a bumpy, harsh ride, but it's absolutely so cool. You're so low to the ground, it's a totally different feeling than a normal car. How they were able to get this much power and it's such a low weight to power ratio that this car is just amazing. And then the way they tuned the exhaust sound, oh my god. I really like the steering wheel of this car with this flat bottom. Obviously it has a racing suspension. All you need is literally just a helmet. If you can track this car, I'm gonna make a little U-turn. Good turning radius too. Wow, I'm amazed. All right guys, we're gonna take this car on Pacific Coast Highway. It's a famous highway alongside the western coast of the United States. Unfortunately, it is not a sunny day as it should be, but we're gonna be taking advantage of the drive. It's a beautiful road, and we're gonna give this car a little bit of gas, see what it is. Oh my god, this thing is fast. That turbo boost is amazing. And the way the gears shift, wow, it's out of this world. Remember, this car has only a 1.75 liter 4-cylinder engine, and it does a 0-60 in 4 seconds. Very glad that we were given the opportunity to drive this car for our channel and share the experience with the other viewers. I mean, this car is so exclusive that a lot of people will never probably see one of these in their lifetime. They might see the normal version of an Alfa Romeo 4C, but not in this special, you know, the 33 that came to whole North America. I can't wait to drive more Italian cars. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Rad Rides, covering this beautiful Alfa Romeo 4C Spider 33 Stradale Tributo. Be sure to stay tuned for our next episodes that are coming on, and we're gonna have some more exciting cars for you guys, the cars that have significance in automotive history, or some of the cars that I personally get for myself. I'm gonna do like a couple of videos on them. As usual, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. That's one of the ways that gets our channel growing, and I hope we see you guys next time. Thank you.